Let me start this video by saying I will never consider award shows as something prestigious. The Oscars will never determine the talent of an actor or the level of quality of a film, because at the end of the day, this is a subjective business, like Timothée said. Pop off, King, you will get them next time. And a couple of random people, even if they live and breathe cinema, cannot decide what is the best thing that came out every year. Sometimes they get it right, and a lot of times they mess up horribly. That being said, I give importance to the Oscars because I treat them as a celebration of film. I love film. Follow me on Letterboxd. And I'm into the idea of having this big celebration every year that highlights the achievements of this beautiful art form. It's fun to predict who's going to win, be happy for your favorite actor when they get it, or be salty when they lose. Just don't take it too seriously because at the end of the day, it's purely entertainment. Just look at the slap incident, it completely overshadowed the awards themselves, symbolizing that nobody really cares. Therefore, I will also not take anything seriously today as I go through every major category and see if they quote-unquote got it right, based on my subjective opinions. I watched most of the movies that were nominated, so I feel like I can somewhat participate in this discussion, but I don't really care that much about my opinion as I care about yours. If you love pictures, as a serious film connoisseur would call movies, feel free to comment and state what were your favorite and least favorite movies last year. If you like what you see, you know where to click, and if you want more film related content, also feel free to subscribe. As a general overview of the Oscars, the lead-up has been one of the most controversial ones I have ever seen. We were hit with AI controversies left and right, from The Brutalist to Emilia Pérez, but I see that the Academy didn't care. Controversial tweets from the lead actress of Emilia Pérez. And speaking about the elephant in the room, Emilia Pérez, the movie was nothing short of a phenomenon this year. I mean 13 Oscar nominations for a piece of shit. Let me come clean first and confess that I'm not a musical guy. I find most of them annoying, and I want to emphasize the word most because some of them manage to slip through from time to time. Yeah, La La Land is the obvious example because that film is a masterpiece through and through, and it gave me a different perspective when it comes to musicals, but this is not a La La Land video. That being said, I didn't watch Wicked because it's not appealing to me. I'm sorry, but I did watch Emilia Pérez because I had to see for myself what was the deal with those 13 nominations. It was such a big deal in the discourse that I couldn't ignore, and after seeing all the hate that it got, I had to form an opinion of my own. And let me tell you, I was not looking forward to it after seeing that penis to vagina clip that was surfacing on the internet. So I watched it, and yeah, it's bad. But it's surprisingly boring bad and not cringy bad. I mean, yeah, most songs are awkward and none of them are memorable. I don't know how you can be a musical and do that, but the movie is really boring and also a complete mess as it tries to tell different stories about transitioning to another gender, the horrifying impact of cartels, and it doesn't deliver on any of them. It just half-asses everything, which is a shame because the premise is actually there, but the execution is horrible. One good thing came out of the entire movie, and that is obviously Zoe Saldana's performance, which she deservingly got the Oscar for. I mean, there was not much competition in this category, although I hear a lot of buzz surrounding Ariana Grande. To finish off this disaster of a movie, they also got original song, totaling their wins to 2 out of 13. I would have boycotted if they got more than that, and especially if they won international feature. That fortunately went to I'm Still Here, which I managed to check off my list one day before the awards, and I'm glad I did because it is truly an amazing movie that will touch you to the core, but more about that in a bit. I just mentioned original song, so moving up the categories, original score obviously went to Challengers. Wait, what do you mean Challengers wasn't nominated for best score? Wait, what do you mean Challengers didn't receive any nomination? Wait, what do you mean Luca released 2 movies this year and neither received any nomination? God damn, Academy, I'm not even a Luca guy and I know that's fucked up. You know what else is fucked up? Denis is the Greta Gerwig of this year and didn't receive the Best Director nod, which is wild as he made the best movie of the year. At least Dune won something despite these motherfuckers from the Academy not seeing it with best sound and visual effects, but of course he would win these. I didn't watch any documentaries or short films this year, so let me get past these real quick, and as I mentioned, I didn't watch Wicked, but from what I've seen in the trailers, I'm sure they deserve best costume design and best production design. Best makeup and hairstyling went to The Substance, but if you've seen The Substance, you know that they had this in the bag. They only nominated other movies because that's the custom. I love how much attention this film got last year because it made it impossible for the Academy to ignore it, as you know that they love snubbing horror movies. Just look at Hereditary, Midsommar, The fucking Lighthouse. Let me put an emphasis on Hereditary because Lily Rose Depp got the same treatment as Toni Collette, as she didn't receive any nomination for her performance in Nosferatu. Is it over the top? Yeah, but I think it fits the movie brilliantly. As soon as something is labeled as horror, the Academy doesn't pay that much attention to it, so I'm glad this weird body horror got through to them. You know what else the Academy doesn't take seriously? Animated movies. If your animated film gets recognized by the Academy, it's immediately sent to the kids table and left out of the big league. At this point, this category is just a consolation prize. The only way that you get nominated for Best Picture as an animated film is to actually be the best film of that year. Just look at Up and Toy Story 3, and they still lost. I hate that animation is not taken seriously in the bigger picture, but recent years at least give me hope with their selections for Best Animated Film. Spider-Verse and The Boy and the Heron are some examples, and also Flow this year. I watched The Wild Robot in cinemas and I thought that shit was amazing and will probably win. Then I watched Flow and I said to myself that if somehow they give it to Inside Out 2, I will burn something small that cannot put anyone in danger, but I would still burn something. Luckily for my penis, they got it right, as Flow is a masterpiece. Moving forward, Conclave won for Best Adapted Screenplay, which is the correct choice. Conclave is a part of my favorite genre, which is men talking in rooms, only this time we got popes talking politics in rooms. They're not popes, the pope is dead and they're trying to elect a new one, that's the premise. They are cardinals or something, I don't know the hierarchy of the Catholic world. Yeah, this movie slaps and it did more to the trans community than Emilia Pérez did. Conclave should have also won for editing, but that went to Anora, which is fine I guess, but Anora did deserve Best Original Screenplay. This film slaps. This was my first Sean Baker experience, so I didn't get any of that sex worker obsession I keep hearing about, but this film does that industry justice. It tells such a captivating story that it had me laughing my ass off until the very end, when I started to feel bad about thinking this was a comedy and not something fucked up that sadly reflects our reality. And speaking of Sean Baker, my guy also managed to secure Best Director, and great for him. Again, Anora is probably in my top 5 movies of the year, and that's all because of him. You truly feel the passion that went into making this film, and everything from the casting to the pacing elevates Anora as something special, so I'll be keeping my eyes on Sean Baker from now on. In my opinion, the most entertaining category to watch was the Best Supporting Actor, because come on man, this was just the Succession standoff between Kendall and Roman. Don't get me wrong, Guy Pearce is outstanding in The Brutalist and Yura Borisov had a breakthrough performance in Anora. I don't know how Edward Norton got nominated though. But if you watched Succession, you cannot tell me this is not the most hilarious face-off. You have one actor known for how serious he is that basically loses himself in the role, and one actor known for almost playing himself every time. And in Succession fashion, the cherry on top is that Kendall takes the L and Kieran wins. You cannot tell me this man is also not Kendall Roy in real life, just look at that face. That being said, it appears that after Succession, I am still a Kendall Roy stan. Yeah, he was the best part of that show for me because that character is as funny as depressing. This time, he's just horrifying. I am not kidding when I'm telling you that Jeremy Strong really loses himself in the character of Roy Cohn. He's a monster in this one, and because of that, he edges out Kieran's performance in A Real Pain by a small margin, because I also think Kieran did an amazing job in a film that is surprisingly very wholesome. You know what's wholesome but also bittersweet? Mikey Madison winning Best Actress in a Leading Role. It's very wholesome because at such a young age, Mikey did put on a performance that deserves this recognition. Bruh, she's 25 and got an Oscar, and I'm turning 25 and I'm making YouTube videos. We're both winning, I'll tell you that. The bittersweet part is not related to Demi Moore, although her losing to Mikey is kind of hilarious and ironic, as that literally is the plot for The Substance, but I'm not going there. She was great in The Substance and I really thought she was going to get it, only because the Academy seems to prioritize legacy awards lately. Jamie Lee Curtis would be one major example. You know, people that have been in the industry a very long time and they only get it because of that, when there are better performances, which makes the Oscars less prestigious if you ask me, but I don't care about that. Nah, what's bittersweet for me is that Fernanda Torres deserved it, man. She carries I'm Still Here. Her performance is so devastating that she can make your heart break just with her facial expressions. The film tells such a painful story of dealing with loss at the hands of an oppressive regime, and Fernanda translates that pain to the audience and just makes the movie hurt in all the best ways. I really wanted her to win, man, to solidify even more the importance of international films, but I'm still happy for Mikey, I guess. When it comes to cinematography, The Brutalist took the W, which is expected because The Brutalist is a lot to take in, and I'm not just referring to the runtime of almost 3.5 hours. This film takes time to digest, and I've only seen it not that long ago, so I cannot do it proper justice, but it really delivers on creating a monster future American classic that shines in every aspect. Does it deserve the award? No, it should have gone to Nickel Boys. Do I have to state my case? The entire movie is filmed in the point of view of the main characters. How can you get more creative than that? This technique does so much for telling this depressive ass story. I mean, this is what innovation and experimentation looks like. Every shot is gorgeous. Hell, the entire movie is the definition of cinematic, so I don't know how The Brutalist got it. I mean, there are gorgeous shots in that film as well, but still. You know what else The Brutalist got, and I understand it? Best Leading Actor. Yeah, Adrien Brody got this one, sorry Timothée. This face-off was also symbolic, as Timothée could have been the youngest actor to win an Oscar, record which Brody still holds, as well as being one of the few people that won every Oscar they were nominated for. After this award show, I'm convinced that Timothée is the DiCaprio of my generation, because he delivers role after role, and I think we're going to see him get that Oscar when he's 40, just like Leo. At least he got that SAG award, but after that speech, he's for sure turning into Homelander. But yeah, Brody got it, and I get it, despite the AI controversy regarding his accent in the film. And also how these Academy fuckers didn't vote for Ralph Fiennes because they thought he already had an Oscar, but gave Adrien his second one. I get it, because he really delivered an Oscar-worthy performance in the first 15 minutes of the movie and spent the remaining 3 hours just doing victory laps, because he does to The Brutalist what Al Pacino did to The Godfather. They are the glue that hold together these behemoths of cinema. Now, I said I get it, but I didn't say I agree with it. Brody shouldn't have won. Hell, I don't think even Chalamet shouldn't have won. This was a completely stacked category, and I think everyone did an amazing job. Shout out to my boy Sebastian Stan. Big up Romania. He portrayed that piece of shit of a human being so well that he deserved this nomination. That being said, Colman Domingo was my pick for this category. He got 2 Oscar nominations back to back, and he truly deserved this one with his performance in Sing Sing. Bruh, that movie is the perfect example of the indomitable human spirit, because after watching it, I felt like I can do anything, and despite how hard it gets, I can go on. And Colman Domingo did that. I'm kind of salty that Clarence Macklin didn't get a nomination for Best Supporting Actor, as he killed it, but Colman put on a performance that solidifies himself as one of the best working actors today. He made me cry, and I wish him the best, and I hope he gets it in the future. If next year he somehow manages to pull a back-to-back-to-back nomination and he loses it again, I'm going to lose it. Now we have arrived at the big one, and drumrolls please, it's an Anora sweep. Good for them, I'm not mad. I really expected for The Brutalist to win, because out of all of them it is truly the most Oscar-y film, and I'm not saying it's Oscar bait like Maestro, but has the most components you would find in an Oscar-winning movie. That being said, I am really happy that an independent film won the big one, because it really tells an inspiring story about how you can go from small beginnings to life-changing success. Everyone involved did an amazing job, and I respect the choice of highlighting an independent work of art that humanizes sex workers and criticizes Russian oligarchs, especially in today's global political climate. Is it my pick? No, but you probably guessed that. For me, it's really between two options. One of them is why I love cinema, and that is Nickel Boys. The astounding achievement the people behind this film made cannot be summed up as something smaller than groundbreaking. I've mentioned the cinematography and how this choice to film everything from a POV standpoint uniquely elevates this movie above the rest. The story presented to us is nail-biting and crushing, as the perspective of a black kid during segregation is nothing less than tragic. The ending has one of the best plot twists in recent memory, and the entire picture is just a symbol of how creativity is the most important thing when it comes to filmmaking, and to see how someone's creativity can lead to a work of art is why I fell in love with cinema. The other option is why I fell in love with movies, and what I mean by that is The Lord of the Rings. Lord of the Rings are my favorite movies made, as I've rewatched them hundreds of times. Yeah, the extended edition too. They are what I considered perfection, and not in the sense that the editing is on point and the cinematography is revolutionary, but in the sense that they give the audience a time of their life. You don't watch these movies, you experience these movies, because their story pulls you in and you don't want to leave. That being said, Dune 2 is that type of movie. When the first Dune came out, I didn't watch it because I thought it would be boring, because I didn't find the source material appealing. When Dune 2 came out, I saw the hype surrounding it, so I decided to give the first one a try, and I liked it more than I expected. Then I watched Dune 2, and that was truly an unforgettable experience. Denis managed to create an epic movie that we almost don't get anymore. The type that keeps you glued to your seat and doesn't leave your memory for a year at this point. This is rare and special. It's a spectacle through and through, and it burrows itself in your brain, making you crave for more. It's disappointing that people like myself that thought Dune would be some boring sandy experience are part of the Academy and didn't give Dune 2 a chance when voting. This is why I don't care about the quote-unquote prestige of the Oscars, because I see how monumental a movie can be and the Academy will still undermine it. Also, imagine being Timothée, giving 2 Oscar-worthy performances, get nominated for 1 and still lose. Out of all movies nominated for Best Picture, I would go for Dune 2 as the best movie of the year, edging Nickel Boys by a small margin. That being said, my personal favorite movie of the year was not even nominated for Best Picture. And no, it's not Challengers, it's fucking Flow. Yeah, big plot twist, right? I told you how animation doesn't get the recognition it deserves, and let me tell you that this Latvian animated film deserves every bit of it. The entire film doesn't have a single line of dialogue, therefore every ounce of emotion is presented to you through the tiniest of gestures from these beautifully animated animals. They have distinctive personalities and they don't even speak. That's how good the attention to detail is. The story, although simple, is gripping because as soon as you see this cat on screen, you want to throw yourself in the water to save it. You just don't get raw emotion like this often. The movement of these animals is so realistic and they don't even use motion capture. Some talented, probably overworked animators just painted these beautiful creatures that jump out of the screen despite the cartoony look. I don't know what to tell you. I laughed and I cried. The movie is suspenseful but so calming at the same time. It is a sensorial explosion that just takes you on this wild ride of a cat, and all you need to do is just flow through this experience. The title sums the film perfectly. It represents a constant flow of thoughts and emotion that are only meant to be felt and not dissected. There might be a deeper meaning behind the entire landscape, but you don't need it. You just need to be present and let yourself flow. Yeah, I'll shut the fuck up. But it is my favorite movie of 2024, and these were my thoughts based on the Oscar winners and nominees. I think it was a solid year for both nominees and winners, and practically almost everyone won something. I'm really sorry, Timothée. So unless your favorite movie of the year was a complete unknown, you might be happy for what you got here, especially Anora fans. And again, that's what I really care about, your opinion. What were your favorite films last year, and what do you think about who won the Oscars? What do you think of the Oscars in general? Hell, what was the worst movie that you saw last year? For me, it was The Platform 2. What movies are you excited for in 2025? I look forward to Mickey 17 and 28 years later, especially the latter. Please feel free to express yourself in the comments. Let me know if you dig this concept of a video, and until the next Academy Awards, I will keep watching films or pictures. Until then, your presence has been priceless. Take care.